Welcome to the Humans of the World podcast, where we dive into the lives of people you pass by every day. Today, my first guest ever. How do you feel about being my first guest?
Pretty excited, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is Vipul Sharma. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay, Vipul Sharma. He's a WNBF pro bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Moved to Canada. When you moved here?
Like 3 years ago.
You moved here 3 years ago?
Yeah, like December 2021. Almost over 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the struggles of moving to a whole different country, starting from scratch, pro bodybuilding, and it's all about you, Vipul.
Yeah.
So can you tell me a little bit about where you grew up?
Yeah, so I grew up in New Delhi, capital of India.
Right.
Spent my life, pretty much all of it, first 26 years. And then packed all my emotions, myself, my dreams, and I landed here.
Yeah, okay. Could you speak English back then?
Could I speak
Back in India?
English? Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, okay.
I've been...
Yeah.
English, just so you know, a fact, Indians are the second highest number of English speakers in the whole world. Yeah.
You guys also have like 5 billion people down there.
Closing into in a few years, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So what first got you started in fitness and bodybuilding?
It all started in 2017 when I actually was just scrolling through like Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I was working for American Express. I was working as a financial analyst at that time. And then I had like a very sedentary lifestyle. Like 22, at the age of 22, I was just scrolling through stuff. Never really went to the gym. Always been excited about it.
Yeah.
But then I signed up for a half marathon where I couldn't even run for 100 meters.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't think too much, just signed up for it, and I was like, whoa, I can't even run 100 meters.
That's a half marathon.
That's a half marathon, like
That's
straight up.
It's a 24K?
It's like 22, almost like 21 point some kilometers, which was, I didn't realize at that time how hard it would be.
Right.
And then I started, one day it was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I signed up, I got 3 months, and I started preparing for it. And the best part about all of this it was all of my own learning experience.
Right.
Because I wanted to like see how far I can go with myself.
Mm.
And yeah, I started running, I started to learn about running. Then I learned a lot of things that it's not just like using your legs and just hopping onto the floor like that. There's so many techniques that you gotta involve. And I trained myself where I didn't even know what I'm doing. So I like took help from internet. Started helping my motivation to get better, to like just show up, just go for a run every day, no matter what time I'm showing up after work, just making sure that I'm just going through it, right? And yeah, the best day came on the race day actually for me. I got my best numbers for not just completing the run, but placing 172 out of like 15,000 people that participated.
So you went from no running experience
No running
to half a
experience.
marathon.
Zero running experience. So during those 3 months, it was such a great learning experience for me. And then that kind of like helped me tackle a lot of challenges that I face on a daily basis, where, just for running for like 2 kilometers or 5 kilometers was a challenge at one point. I kept on saying to myself, no, this is good. So my body kind of learned to push through the challenges, not just physically but mentally as well, and that helped me managing my life on a personal and professional front. And then when I saw my results coming up every day, doing the same thing, that kind of helped me to see the other side, which I never really realized it's there for me, and that's what I learned, just pushing forward. Life's gonna throw a lot of shit on you, like making sure that you don't succeed. You probably feel the worst, but that's like the real test.
Right.
Just success is nothing about coming from somebody else, but it's just about like doing things that you do every day and just see how far you've come.
100%. Yeah. It's so funny. I feel like most people who get into fitness, they always start with running.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how I started. I was like, I gotta be healthy. I gotta run.
No shit, man. And then it just helps you become such a better person, like on a regular basis.
So how'd you go from running to bodybuilding?
Yeah, so running just gave me that trigger point that I always wanted to like do something. So that kind of made me realize if you put in the work, you're gonna see the results.
Right.
And since at that time I was at a position, where I've tasted that kind of, the side of success, and fitness was something that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
So it kind of gave me like an opening door to it, and I stepped into the gym, started working out, and yeah, I was like, okay, there's no turning back now, because first 3 months of me training, I saw pretty good results, all by myself though.
Did you have a trainer?
I didn't have a trainer back then, so
Okay.
I was just like lowballing it, see how far I can go, and then yeah, just random average gym goer trying to do all my workouts. But the good thing was from my learning experience from running was like to do everything and everything,
Right.
and anything, like just do it that you need to do for bodybuilding. So I kind of did that. Use that kind of motivation into my workouts. So as compared to like people who show up just on and off, I was doing it every day.
Gotcha.
So I kind of like, since it was my first time, the kind of stimulus my body got, it showed amazing results for the 3 months. I was like, whoa, this is
okay.
great.
Yeah.
I feel better in my confidence. I feel better in my sleep. I make sure like I'm eating the right kind of food, so it kind of like balances out everything in your body.
Right.
So, and then I was just hooked on to the results, and that's about it. So 3 months, 3 years actually, I just did it by myself, and then after the 3 years, I finally decided I gotta do like a photo shoot, just go to the next level, and that's when I got in touch with our coach, and then there's no turning back.
So you got a coach now?
I got a coach. I've been with my coach for around 5 years now.
5 years? Okay.
His name is Tushar Vipul. He's back from New Delhi as well.
Was he Chet's coach?
Chet's coach.
Is he still Chet's coach?
He's still Chet's coach.
Chet, we miss you, man.
Yeah, man. Love you, bro. By the way, he's still alive.
Yeah, I saw he posted recently.
Yeah, he's been crushing it, dude.
Okay, we'll go back to bodybuilding. But when did you first realize you wanted to move to Canada? And why Canada?
Honestly, not my first preference. But like, I was like, just living and working there. I had like a pretty much like settled life back in India.
Right.
You know how people are.
In
humans are like usually they don't want to settle in for what they have, right? So we always have this preconceived notion of the West, especially like Asian countries, South Asian. You probably would see how.
What was your perspective of the West?
Perspective
before
of the
you
West was like obviously like what we've seen or like what we know from like social media, films, movies, or whatever. You see your friends, relatives living abroad as well. They have like a sense of fake success.
Right.
That glorifying life. Even though like you have a better life back home, you probably think that there's always something better out for me.
Right. Yeah.
And that's why you always wanted to like explore, and then just see if it matches with your lifestyle as well, or maybe help you to upgrade. So we always thrive for upgradation in our life. So that was my one thing that helped me to like see and come out of India and see what's there out in the world. So that was my first trigger point.
Got you. And so landing here, you were probably surprised with the change.
Oh yeah, of course.
What was the hardest part of those early days?
The hardest part, I think, at the beginning, I didn't really think of it as a challenge.
Okay.
Because it was all like just new experience, new environment, new people. So you at beginning you were like, oh, okay, so I want to see this. You're in this phase of like exploring everything around you, and you're pretty excited about like, oh, what's there for me today? Every day you're like looking up to new things. But then it kind of like hits you after a while when you see a lot of loneliness.
Loneliness, yeah.
Yeah, loneliness I feel is the biggest part for anybody who's coming out from their own home country.
Right.
And that kind of like made me realize, love is back home.
Love is back
Everything's
home.
back home. Life's gonna test you, with loss, with success, with failure during this time, and then you just want to just quit everything and just go back home.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that's what helps you to get better.
I got you. So you definitely had doubts if you made the right choice.
Of course.
So can you tell us something about starting from scratch, moving to a new country that people don't usually see or know about?
So, like something that people doesn't know.
Yeah, like they don't
in.
realize. Yeah.
Oh yeah. One thing that I've realized and learned, when I was here, and then during this time I also went back home, right? So I kind of was able to compare the two different scenarios. First was nobody's gonna come and save you.
Right.
Nobody. No matter who you're with, your friends, your colleagues, they all are gonna be with you at a certain moment, but there's always come a moment in your life every day when you're like just by yourself at your own room, just thinking about life, where you've been, what you've become. Even though people might not even believe you some days, to what you think that you are capable of.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of like job rejections that you face every day. Economy is pretty shit here. Not gonna lie.
It's terrible.
It's terrible.
Oh my god, it's so dog shit right now.
Housing market is crashing.
I heard rent's going down.
Rent's going down for now, but like for now, like come on, man.
It's
Like,
gonna go
you gotta
back
pay like what $2,000 for like living in a shitty ass place in downtown. So not the real dream life.
I'm paying $2,600 for a 1 bedroom.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. 2,600.
Yeah, gas town. I'm in the ghetto.
Still, like living in Gastown at 2,600 is crazy. Yeah.
So back to the point, would you say loneliness was the hardest part about moving here?
Yeah, of course. Loneliness was the hardest part. Not being able to see your family is the hardest part.
And you moved here alone?
I moved here all by myself.
Okay.
I came here pretty much with whatever savings that I could get, and then the money I could arrange for my own self.
Yeah.
I didn't take money from my family.
Yeah.
I've never taken any money since I was 19.
Damn. Okay.
So I started working when I was 19, when I was in Barclays Shared Services. It's like a biggest bank in the UK. I was working there, and then I switched to work for American Express, worked there for 5 years, 6 years, and then I came here. So all this while I was there in India, I didn't really realize the real challenges, because you're always in that protected environment.
Right.
How brown parents are. Even though like no matter how big you get, how old you get, they're just gonna like tell you like
you can come home.
You can come home. We're there to help you out. So you always have this kind of like that feeling, oh, somebody's gonna back me up.
Right.
But when you're here,
no safety net.
That goes. That safety net is gone. And you don't know what to do about it.
Yeah.
Because you've never been in that kind of environment, right? So you start learning from it. And loneliness is the biggest and the first chapter that you kind of like get into it. And once you go through that, I feel like that kind of makes you learn a lot more about who you are as a person. And that like if something like that happens or hits you again, you know how to deal with it.
You're able to get through it.
Yeah, absolutely. Life is not what comes at you, it's like how you deal with it.
There we go.
So that's what I believe.
Wise man Vipul. Did you have friends when you moved here? Like, did you have friends already here?
No.
Zero. You start from
zero.
Absolutely
Absolutely from zero.
How'd you find these friends?
Yeah.
Because I see, if you see his Instagram, you have lots of friends now.
I have.
You have a lot of friends, man.
I have a lot of friends. You know, one thing that I've earned a lot is not money. For sure.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. For now. But I'm stepping onto that part of it. But one thing that I've earned a lot, which is far more valuable than money, is people.
There we go.
And that I feel is my biggest success. Because every day or any day, if I'm able to like make changes to anybody's life, even by a small percent, you know, I feel accomplished. I feel more accomplished than a guy who's probably just crying about his Porsche getting, you know, a scratch.
Right.
He's probably has things to cry. I don't. I'm happy that I'm making changes in people's lives.
So you really value.
I value it. Absolutely. I value it more than anything else because I know how it feels when you got no money and then when you have people around. So that when I know is like, you know, it's something real. It's something genuine. And that's what stays with you.
Okay.
People would not learn you about what kind of brands you were wearing when you met them. You're like how nice that person was to you. And that I feel is something that everybody should consider living in life in general, you know.
Would you say you're rich in that aspect, man?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's go back to bodybuilding.
Yeah.
So we start running, and then 3 months you saw great progress. When did you start taking bodybuilding super serious? Because you ended up getting your WNBF pro.
Yeah.
Pro
So
card. When did that
pretty
happen?
good. You know, story behind it. So
Sorry, before we get on to that story, were you skinny or were you like a little chum when you
I
started?
was very
fitness?
weird. I was like a person with skinny ass arms. Still do a little bit.
Give me a little flex.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe like a little bit. Yeah. Pretty good.
Oh, fuck, okay.
Yeah.
That's not flex.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
But like, been trying to do whatever I could now. But like,
So you had skinny arms?
yeah, skinny arms, like, you know, skinny legs. But I had like a weird ass, you know, skinny fat belly.
Okay.
And then I wasn't that strong either. So when I started training for like the first 2-3 years, I was just lowballing it, see, you know, how far I can go, eating whatever I could. But then even like the slightest contribution every day, that consistency that I had for over 2-3 years, they kind of give me a better results than somebody who's just doing on and off, you know. Here and
For
there.
sure, 100%.
So I kind of believed somewhere deep down that, you know, if I do it the exact right way it should be, you know, get in touch with somebody who knows how it's done, especially naturally.
Yeah.
Because that was my motivation, like to do it naturally, to make sure that, you know, this is something that can be done.
Right.
Never really know how it's done, so I had my own doubts about it.
Yeah.
Because I never really went into details. But ever since I started off with my coach, I prepared for a photo shoot for my own self.
For yourself?
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get a photo shoot done.
Were
And
you gonna frame it on a wall, or
I
what was
had
this photo shoot for?
I had
Just for
like,
you?
just for my own self, probably like, you know, I'm gonna start off a new page on Instagram where I could like just, you know, showcase people like it's done naturally, you know, be that kind of person who wants to tell people, don't jump on steroids, you know. And this is, I'm talking about back in the day in like when 2018, 2019, when 2020 actually, it wasn't a thing that way. And then we had the pandemic.
Right.
You know, so during COVID, that's when I had like a lot of time to like ponder over myself. And then you don't have that much work to do, honestly.
Right.
So that's when, you know, I got that enough time to like give myself that space.
Where'd you work out during COVID? Was the gyms open?
Around COVID?
Were you at Fitness World?
No.
No, right? Okay.
Fitness was not that big, honestly.
Right.
But yeah, I went to like Anytime Fitness around that time, like after COVID, when like the restrictions were lifted off.
Yeah.
Around like October.
Yeah.
And that's when I started. And 4 months into the prep or whatever I did, the program.
Yeah.
I got the best package. Like first time ever, I got like the whole 6-pack, see myself, you know, shredded. And that phase was like the first 3 months when I did it around that time after 3 years of training. I'm like, I saw myself. I was like, wow, this is a different person. I've never seen it. You know, at like single digit body fat. So I was like, okay, I want to see how far I can go from here. You know, and my coach was like, yo, this is just the beginning. You know, you're gonna get so much better than this.
And get you all fired up.
Get me all fired up, and then I had like this new year when I would like, you know, I have everything that I want. You know, I'm mentally stable, I'm financially stable. I want to invest whatever time, money I could to make myself better, and yeah, that's how I started my first prep. Right before I was about to fly to Canada, I had my first show back in India. Like 10 days before. 10 days before that.
Yeah, it shows 10 days back to back?
10 days before, just right before my flight.
Yeah.
I had my first show ever.
Okay.
And it was like a all India level, like a national level comp. Subjected to be a national competition, but not really.
What was the competition?
So this federation, I'm pretty sure a lot of people that are related to fitness would know. It's called Muscle Mania.
Muscle Mania, okay.
Bro,
yeah.
Such a fake ass federation, honestly.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's like, you know, the more it's renowned, there's so many darker sides to it. So it was the worst show ever that I've ever had. I was like waiting for like almost 13 hours, 14 hours backstage.
That's
It was like fucking 6 degrees in Delhi.
How do you even prepare for that? 13 hours backstage.
Yeah. I wasn't. I didn't know. I didn't know that's, you know, what's gonna come for me. I had all my meals being finished, done for it, and it's been like 10 at night. I'm 2 hours already done with my like all my meals, and that's when I got to step on the stage, and it was so mismanaged. They made us like stand like 70 athletes all at once, all the categories. I was like, what the fuck?
This was in India?
This was back in India. It was the worst show ever. And on top of it, the athletes that I could see were not natural.
Okay.
So
and did you join a natural?
And yeah, it was supposed to be a natural show, like, but not a lot of athletes were natural. There was no testing, no standard protocols. Nothing was being followed.
Okay.
Like, we didn't even have a chance to like have like a drinking water facility. Nothing. And it was cold as fuck. At one point, there was not even electricity. So I was like, what the fuck is that? They cut down the electricity because they pretty much was done with the time for what they booked the whole facility for.
That's fine.
So yeah, it was like the worst experience that I had. But on top of everything that I just faced, I still was able to manage to place within the top 6 out of all the athletes within my category. So out of 70 athletes, if I'm able to beat a lot of non-natty athletes and then still being able to place top 6, I was like, okay, bro, I won this.
Yeah.
You know, in my heart, I won that show, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do better.
Do you think there's a lot of corruption in that show?
Oh yeah, for sure. Corruption. Bodybuilding is a big thing in India, but it's just because it's too much unorganized.
Right.
There's like 10,000 different federations giving away a lot of money, but there's no standard management being followed. Anything could be done, you know. There's so much goofing around going on all the time. People being like fighting about like judging and all that, you know, vandalism. All this thing happen all the time. Which was kind of like make me step back, and then I was already here, right?
Right.
So as soon as I came here, within a month or so, when like the gyms were open, I was like, okay,
back to it.
Back to it.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna do it, bro. Even though like I was all new here, you know, barely knew about like how things work, I still made sure that, you know, I gotta start finding things for myself, you know, and then I competed for the first time here.
And you've never touched a steroid?
I've never touched a
Zero.
steroid. I'm vegetarian, by the way.
I remember that. I was going to mention that. So he's vegetarian and natural.
Yeah. So dairy is fine.
I'll pop a picture of you right here.
Yeah.
You would not think he's natural.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Do you think, you obviously did it, but do you think most people can get as big as you, as lean as you, on a vegetarian diet?
I feel like it really is subjective, but a lot of people that think that they cannot, from what they are as of now, they could be 1,000 times better if they just put everything in place. They might think they're not able to do it because they never put in really the work that it needs. but I feel like there's no reason for you to not grow if you're putting everything right. I mean, your body would not find an excuse not to grow. You're just giving everything it needs to actually do the thing. It's just that you need to know what needs to be done, and then kind of like just fucking do it.
And why are you vegetarian? Is it religious? Is it
I mean,
preference?
kind of both, honestly. Because I've been brought up in an environment where there was nothing involved in my family. Like, but I don't think that's completely true for me to not have it, because even though like it's so common in India to have like a vegetarian household just within your household, but people go and eat outside, right, all the time. That never really appealed to me, honestly. Like, alcohol, maybe, it's cigarettes, or maybe, eating meat. These things never really appealed to me.
Really?
Honestly,
You
like,
don't see
it's so weird.
You don't see like a KFC chicken and you're like,
yeah, I don't
looks
know,
good,
man. Like,
no?
sometimes I just feel like, one time actually I was back in India, I was able to, like, by accident I had like something chicken noodle,
okay,
something like that, and then my body was like feeling so fucked up,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know that I had it. But like I realized, like when your body is not able to accept something.
Yeah, exactly.
So I kind of knew it back then, because I got pretty sick right after having just like one spoon of it. I couldn't eat anything for like next 5 hours.
So you're
until
good
I
on,
just get everything out.
Damn. So you're good on no meat for the rest
No
of your life.
meat
You're
for
good.
the rest of my life, and that's what I feel like. People think that, oh, just because you eat meat you're able to gain muscle. And I'll be like, no, man. You just need protein.
That's so uncommon to hear of, a bodybuilder who doesn't eat meat.
Doesn't eat
That's
meat,
crazy.
right? Because it's so much engraved into us,
Yeah.
from like 60, 70 years, 80 years, like, meat is for men, you gotta eat that.
Yeah.
That's the kind of like thought process we've been feed with. But like, yeah, I mean, you can do it.
Because I know in my own life, when I'm like super focused on like building a physique, I'm just eating meat. I'm not even eating no vegetables. Zero. Just
man.
meat.
I know, like, to each their own.
That's right.
I respect, whatever people have been putting their effort in, Obviously, like, meat has their own pros and cons, like, whatever it comes up with it. But I just feel like there's other ways to it as well. So I'm just trying to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. Can you talk to me about the day of your WNBF pro card and how you were feeling during that day? Can you take yourself back to that day?
Absolutely. So my first show when I competed, while just coming 1 month, 2 months in Canada, I started my prep while I was starting my education as well. Like, I was doing my studies, so I was doing my MBA, like first or the second semester of it.
And you were working?
And I was working too. So I had a job. I was doing my school.
Yeah.
And between all of this, I was taking time to make sure that I do my meals.
Yeah.
I, show up for my training. I do
Right.
enough cardio that I want to.
How'd you have time for all of that?
Yeah, I just feel like, how did that happen?
Right.
So it just, now that I say it, just feels like too much work.
Yeah.
But when you're really locked in, honestly, man, like, you just don't feel like that thing is a work for you, because every day you give yourself these tasks, and every day when I show up and I finish up those tasks, finishing up gave me such a rewarding feeling, So I was just chasing that. I was just chasing that feeling of making sure that I'm doing whatever I've told myself to.
Right.
So it's always like, oh, this is me telling myself, so I gotta do it.
It's all about discipline.
It's all about discipline. I just started off with that, and every day when I was seeing the results, which was far better than anybody I've seen before, that was like the biggest motivation, honestly. Like, I could see myself dialed in, seeing those abs being popped up, muscles
Like
actually growing.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like this is something else, I want to see how far I can go with this. And that showed up, and I had my first show day. I have my roommate back then who really helped me out. He's like a brother to me. Uh, he was the guy who really like helped me out my first show. I did my tanning by my own self.
Did he do your tan?
He did my tan.
Okay, I remember you posted something like that. Okay.
Yeah. So he's the one who kind of like helped me out during that phase, because I really didn't know when I have to go to the show day, what all the things that I have to do over there. So he was there to like back me up at the backstage. So yeah, that's again, people that I learned I have with me around that time. The things that I was putting in. And then my coach was also throughout constantly, like on text or phone. He was there with me to check, see where my check-ins are, how I'm looking at. And I did the show. Honestly, never expected myself to be in the center stage.
Yeah, you had center stage.
Well, I was at the center stage for all that while. And I was like, okay, this is turning out to be something nice.
Yeah.
So I did the pre-judging, got the scores.
Did you start off center?
I started off around like somewhere on the right side of it. And
for those who don't know bodybuilding shows, you want to be center stage.
Yeah.
Or as close as possible.
Dead center, you know?
Dead center.
Because the guy who's at dead center, he's the one being compared to rest of the other guys.
Yeah.
Right? So ever since I knew that, I'm going to be shredded, I'm going to be better than the other guys, because I was kind of beating with other people as well before my show. So I knew like, oh, I'm looking much better than few of these guys, but I haven't seen all of them.
So you were scoping out the competition.
Scoping out, yeah. So a day before the show, they were like making us stand in a line, see, where you got to be the next day.
Yeah.
I did all that. Did the show, won it. But like when they actually called out my name, I think that was probably one of the best moments of my life that I'll ever cherish.
Damn.
One of the biggest core memory that I have is actually doing my first show and winning that, which was an actual natural show, just so you know. WNBF takes care of all the protocols that needs to be done.
Everyone's natty.
They do a polygraph test a week before your show, so they're actually asking you questions about like whether you've taken stuff or not.
You do a blood test as well.
Exactly.
Polygraph?
They actually they don't do the blood test, but they do the polygraph, and they actually take your urine sample, right?
Oh, urine test.
So
okay.
yeah, so the moment I stepped off the stage, they just took me to the thing to take the sample. They didn't even let me meet anybody, because there's a high chance somebody might sneak in a sample or so.
Yeah. So some people give fake pee.
Yeah, pee samples.
Right. Okay.
But then I won the show, and it was an amazing feeling. I've never expected myself to be at that level.
Yeah.
And that kind of boomed up my social media game too, because that's when I realized I'm the first Indian who's actually got a pro card in WNBF. And I didn't know that. Somebody actually posted it on Instagram.
That's going to be the title, by the way. First Indian WNBF pro.
Oh my god. Yay. Okay, yeah, so that was like one thing. I was like, whoa, is that me?
Yeah.
And then when I like kept on reading that, that was such a surreal feeling, honestly. You never expect yourself to be called out in such a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that...
When was this?
That was in 2022, May 2022. That's when the show happened.
This was May 2022?
Yeah.
This was when you were at Fitness World?
No,
it
was it was
before
like a year before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Good job.
So 2022, I did that, and then I went back to my like studies, but not really was a best time of my life. But see a lot of shit going here and there. I didn't have a job right after my show.
Right.
So I kind of get into like this downer mode, where I really wasn't know what I'm doing, and I was off workout.
You felt lost.
I felt lost.
Okay.
I had no direction to what I'm doing. I don't know. I think it's obvious for you to feel sometimes off track.
Yeah.
But then, and then I went back to India for my like sister's wedding. I came back, and that's when I had the hardest moment of my life around that time, because that's when I lost my mom.
Sorry to hear that, yeah.
In 2023. So that was really hard for me. And I think more than hard, it was a lot of learnings that I got that year too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's how it made me feel.
Were you close with your mother?
Yeah, super close.
Mm-hmm.
It was a really hard time,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, that time for me, because I came from India after my sister's wedding, so it was like such a great time that I had with everybody back in the family. My mom was there. Everybody was like enjoying.
So you felt lost, came back,
I came
happy.
back happy, and then after 2 months, I got a phone call from my aunt, and then she's just telling me to call home.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what happened? My mom's in the hospital. I was like, how is that possible?
Mm-hmm.
Turns out she had some skin allergies that instigated because of the steroids that the doctors gave her to treat it. Since she was diabetic, they kind of like shoots up her diabetic levels too. So
it was kind of malpractice in a way.
it was like a way to treat it, but not exactly. They thought it would help her.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a part of the treatment. Doctors do give steroids, dermatologists, to like counter some infections that might be there in this system. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they have their own side effects, and that kind of like reacted with her diabetes. That she was a chronic diabetic patient, so yeah, I never expected that. I had the hardest 14 hours of my life
Mm-hmm.
when I was flying back to India
Mm-hmm.
during that time.
Did you try to fly back right away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As soon as I got the
First
call, well, I was lucky enough to get a ticket for the same day around evening. I got a call like 12 in the afternoon. The funny part about all of this is that flight is usually goes at 10 in the morning every day.
Mm-hmm.
But the same day that flight was delayed to evening.
Yeah.
Which is, I don't know, it's just a part of the universe
Bad
telling
luck.
me like, you gotta go back home.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I went there. Hardest 14 hours of my life, where I'm just constantly looking back about everything about my mom, honestly. Yeah, it was hard for me to like think of it as a reality, think
Right.
of it that actually happened.
Like you couldn't believe it.
I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. It was so much in a shock, because for me it was like an everyday thing, just call her, talk to her, and she was everything that I could ever want to be in a safe space.
Yeah.
She is like, a mother is like that,
Mm-hmm.
and no matter how hard you trying to be the tough guy,
Yeah.
like you need that space with your mom sometimes,
Facts.
and
Yeah.
that was gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really hard for me to like fathom into my own head.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah. But then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's how during that time I learned a lot of things about my own self. Constantly just thinking about what should I do now,
Right.
because I was still midway during my school. I still haven't finished my MBA yet. I was around my last semester was still left.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to think and give myself time, but I didn't have it.
Right.
Because I have to go back, start
Mm-hmm.
the whole schedule, whole routine again.
And your mind's in scrambles. Probably.
It's scrambles,
You're
yeah.
lost.
I was
Right.
like completely lost. I don't know what I'm doing. I came back after 20 days,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just kept on thinking, what can I do to make myself feel better?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way I could just be like that. So my mom, again, she came in as a motivation for me.
Yeah.
Because every time I think of losing or quitting or just going back home, that's when I thought of like quitting.
Yeah.
I always gave it this to myself, My mom is still looking at me.
Yeah.
And she
sure.
would not want me to be the quitter that I'm becoming.
Yeah.
She would not want me to see that way.
Mm-hmm.
And she also would not want to see me like, crying it like that.
Right.
And I have given some promises to her, so I gotta live up to that. And that was my biggest push.
Mm-hmm.
telling that my mom is there. And yeah, I every now and then I get a few examples of it. Sometimes life is too shitty. I got nothing going on, and then out of a sudden, just because I believe that something's gonna happen, something's better is gonna happen, it does happen. So that made me realize it's really funny, but it's so much true that tough times don't last, tough people do.
There you go.
Yeah, and then you see the bitter person coming out of yourself.
Yeah. What was your best memory with your mother?
Everything about my mother.
Everything.
There's nothing worse about it. Because whatever I had was a very limited amount of time out of my whole life that I probably would live.
So you didn't have a lot of time with your mom?
No, I'm just saying now.
In perspective.
In
okay,
perspective.
Right.
Whatever time now. Because these are the things that I've learned now. Like when you're actually living with your family, living with your people, you don't really realize all these things.
Right.
So now that I've had all these memories with her, for whatever time that I've had with her, I feel everything's gonna be like a treasure for me.
100%. Yeah.
I'm gonna take each and every learnings that I had during that time, and just live on it.
If you could see your mom today, what do you hope she would say to you?
Oh, that's hard.
You could think about it.
I think one thing that she would always tell me, that she always used to tell me, is that, and that for me, for any relationship that I make with anybody, is trust.
Is trust.
And I know she's gonna tell me that I trust you, because this is what she's gonna tell anybody, even behind my back. She's gonna tell anybody, is like, I trust my son. I know he's not gonna do anything wrong for anybody, and that just tells me, she's given me good learnings, good teachings. I've had good learnings from her, so I'm gonna just stick to that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
No worries.
Thank you. So, how old are you now?
I'm 29.
You're 29?
Big 3-0 is coming, baby.
Okay. I don't mean to be rude. Okay, so you're 29.
Yeah.
You have your WNBF pro card. What's next?
So I got my pro card.
Yeah.
I came back to here, after my mom died. And then that's when I actually found a way to put myself into direction by doing my first pro show as well. So I did a pro show, just so you know, back in 2020, the same year I lost my mom.
Yeah. Is that the same one? No, that's a different one with Rish, right?
That was a different one with Rish, yeah. So
you went all the way to...
I went all the way to Calgary. I flew to Calgary for that show. So that was, again, a biggest learning for me that year, because I was already down by whatever happened with the first quarter of the year, losing my mom. And then anything that I could tell myself that makes me feel better is bodybuilding again. Okay. So I went back, just start from the scratch, getting back to the drawing board, see how far I can go now. Okay. And that was really, really, really challenging, honestly, because I was going through a lot of mental trauma about managing things. At the same time, I was managing school again. Right. At one point, I was feeling pretty lost and degraded. And you're working full time, right? I was working full time too, and that's the time I met you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the time we met each other. We started working together, and it was pretty good. And then around that time, I did my first pro show. I went to Calgary in the fall of October. That's when I did that show, and then I actually placed in top 5. That was pretty sick. Pretty sick. That's so pretty sick. I got qualified for the World Championship now. Okay. Yeah. From that show? From that show. Okay. So I can kind of go for the Worlds now, which is going to happen in the States, where I'm going to represent Canada. So, yeah. Damn. When is that? This is supposed to be this year in fall. Damn. Oh, it's coming up. It's coming up. You're in prep? Well, I'm not going to say anything for now. I'm just going to keep it in the shadows, see how far it goes. I'm not confident about it now, but when the time comes, we'll see which show I'm gonna go for. But yeah, that was also like a lot of year of learning for me. 2023
So now the focus is bodybuilding.
bodybuilding,
Yeah.
making sure, and also yeah, just making my life coming back on like full track where I
Mhm.
can actually focus more on my bodybuilding, because honestly it's not possible if you're not mentally or financially stable,
Yeah.
because it's an expensive sport, when I had
What's the end goal for you?
my end goal is to actually be at a place,
Mm-hmm.
except for like bodybuilding and stuff, to be at a place where I don't have to think twice about buying something.
Okay.
That's like the place where I want to be, because people who say that money can't buy happiness,
They're lying.
they're lying, bro. They're lying. Money actually buys you happiness, because
Mhm.
all the things that you desire, even like with your family, if I have to go back see my family, I need money for that.
Facts.
So
Yeah. Mhm.
money does make you feel all the happiness that you want. If not directly the happiness, it'll show you the way how to get the happiness.
I agree. Yeah.
So yeah, man.
But you want to get financially stable and good through bodybuilding? Is that the plan for you?
I'd say bodybuilding would just be a way for me to like get better in life in terms of like physical and mental aspect.
Mhm.
But for financial aspect, I'm not fully dependent on it. I would still keep it as a way of like giving myself motivation to go further.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. If you could talk to 18-year-old Vipul.
Yeah.
And you could say one thing, what would you do? What would you say?
Well.
Or would you say nothing at all?
What would I say? Nothing at all? No, man. There's actually so much more to say.
Let's see this. What advice would you give 18-year-old Vipul?
18-year-old Vipul is pretty clueless, I would
Yeah.
say.
Mhm.
18-year-old Vipul doesn't know what's coming there for him in life. But I really want to tell that person to not quit.
Mhm.
I would just tell that person, trust your gut,
Mhm.
because your gut really tells you a lot of things that nobody else would.
Mhm.
But at the same time, you're not crazy for thinking different.
Mhm.
Because when I really thought that, I'm going to actually do bodybuilding naturally,
Mhm.
it was a time when nobody would really think it's actually possible.
Right.
But like putting in the effort, doing it every day, show you the results. So I would say just don't stop quitting. It's gonna get tough. It's gonna get real. It's gonna get real raw for you.
Mhm.
But just keep pushing. Bet on yourself, and there's no way in hell you won't see any changes.
Beautiful, man. Beautiful. Okay. I got one last question for you.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of your story, what do you want to be remembered for? What's your legacy looking like?
My
That
legacy.
you want?
I'll be the guy that was always there for you,
Okay.
helped you.
Mhm.
The guy who wants to make a difference in people's life by being good, doing good, and not by snatching away things.
Mhm.
Because those are the values that I live by, and I really want people to remember me by that.
Mhm.
And yeah, if there's any way possible I could be a positive impact in anybody's life, I just want to be that,
Mhm.
so that they remember me for what good that I brought into their lives, and how that good thing changed them into a better person.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about your mindset.
Mhm.
If you can be a person with a good mindset, you can actually help people with the similar mindset too,
Facts.
and that's what matters.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much, Vipul.
No worries, man.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you for being open.
Pleasure. Yeah.
It's good seeing you again. I haven't seen this guy in
I don't know,
fucking
like
2 years?
year and a half. The last time we went, I guess, to what club we went to.
That was more than a year and a half.
That was more.
That was 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah,
that's
for
crazy.
sure 2 years.
2020. Oh yeah, summer of 2023. You gotta hit up again, man.
Yeah, we gotta hit a workout.
get a workout, go for a beach day, you know,
Yeah.
just chill out for a day.
I gotta work out a little bit more, but
No, you're just too good. Like, look at his fucking arms, man. Like, that's crazy. Like, I don't even think I could be that big.
what? You're bigger than me.
Ooh. No, like.
Okay, stop. Okay, okay, so that was Vipul. If you guys enjoyed him, you guys want to see more of him, I'll leave all his links down below. And yeah, tune in for the next one.